Hello, I'm Jesse Madrigal. I'm 23 years old. I'll be 24 in about 2 weeks. I am a certified personal trainer, a dog dad, a toy photographer, and a classic physique competitor. And this is my journey to compete in the Muscle Icon competition June 26, 2021 in Culver City, California. I didn't get into competing because of some dream I had when I was younger. Rather, when I was younger, I had no ambition of competing as a competitive bodybuilder. I actually didn't even know it was a thing until I started working out, and I found out that, you know, you can step on stage and compete and whatnot.
Breathe out of your nose!
Relax, quarter turn to the right.
Breathe out!
Quarter turn to the right. Back double bicep.
Hold it, Jesse!
Relax, quarter turn to the right.
Smooth!
Face front.
Breathe out! Out of the nose!
Thank you, gentlemen. You can file off to your right.
I've always wanted to be big and strong growing up because of my influences, primarily being Batman. I know it sounds kind of silly, but I was definitely influenced by Batman a lot growing up, mainly because I knew that out of any superhero in existence, the only one that anybody could ever be would be Batman, because he has no superpowers or anything, you know. All the stuff he has, he's earned. All the knowledge he has, he studied, he learned. All the skills he had, he studied, he learned, he practiced. You know, so all the strength he has, he's built from the ground up. He's put the work in. He trains hard, stays disciplined and consistent, and that really carried over onto me growing up. Another major influence on me growing up which is more of a real world influence, would be Kobe Bryant. I grew up as a basketball player. I grew up loving the game of basketball, especially watching him play at his competitive level, and him always striving to be the best and always working to be the best, and in a way kind of creating better players in the NBA. And Kobe was much like Batman, where Batman can be said to have created his own enemies and whatnot. Kobe created his own enemies in the NBA as well. Because of him, you know, other NBA players wanted to work hard to beat Kobe whenever the Lakers were in town and whatnot. So his Mamba mentality really stuck with me as a basketball player and throughout becoming a competitive bodybuilder, because it doesn't matter what industry you're in, even if it's not sports, you can always apply that Mamba mentality of discipline, consistency, and hard work. So that's basically what led me to want to be big and strong when I'm able to, as I grew up and whatnot. But, you know, as it happens, you know, people come up to you and say, you know, oh, do you compete? Do you compete? And I remember at the time just thinking, you know, I don't want to step on stage in a little thong and stuff. You know, that's just not my thing.
Thank you. Next up, number 21.
And so I did more research into it and whatnot, and eventually I found that the men's physique category had just been established, and they actually wear swimming trunks on stage. And I thought that would be a really good division to dip my toe in and, you know, just feel it out, see how I like stepping on stage and compete.
take that trophy to competitor number 500, Jesse Madrigal. Give a big hand, folks.
And I actually really enjoyed it, and I ended up doing 3 shows that first year I competed over at Muscle Beach in Venice, California. They put on some amateur shows in the outdoor area right there on the Muscle Beach platform, which is really cool, and which is one of the reasons why I chose that show to start with, because I thought, you know, if I do this once, then I can at least say I competed at Muscle Beach. And you know, it was actually a really great experience, all 3 shows, and that really pushed me to want to continue to compete. But I knew I had more to give than just in the physique category, especially since I didn't just want to stand there and pose. You know, I wanted to actually hit a front double bicep, a side chest. You know, I wanted to show off my legs, show off my hard work and whatnot. So the next year I decided to take the step up into classic physique, and it worked out pretty well, and I enjoyed competing in the classic physique division for the past 6 years now, and I look forward to continuing to compete in the classic physique division for the foreseeable future. So how exactly did I get into competing if it was never my intention or to compete or step on stage growing up? That has to go back to my freshman year of college, my freshman English and speech teacher, and that class itself. So it was a combination class. It was both freshman English and speech class, and so, you know, as it says, you know, we had to give speeches and whatnot. And this one speech she wanted us to give was not so much based on facts, but she wanted us to focus on our delivery of the speech. And so she said, go home, memorize your favorite movie scene, and come back and give it. So that way we weren't having to focus on all the facts and stuff we have to remember from the research and all that, combined with having to, you know, remember all the stuff we have to do to give a really good speech in front of an audience. So, you know, everyone went home and did that. At the time, I was really getting into bodybuilding. I had already been working out and whatnot, but I was really, you know, into it at that point, and I was watching Pumping Iron, Generation Iron, any other bodybuilding type video on YouTube the whole time I was working out and whatnot, and also in my free time. So my favorite movie at the time was Generation Iron 1, and especially the scene where Kai Green's talking about how he's disciplined and how no matter what he's going to stay on his discipline, and how focused he is, and you know, building a aesthetically pleasing and balanced physique. And I thought, you know, I really liked the way he gave that monologue and that presentation. It had a lot of heart and a lot of grit and a lot of aggression behind it, and it was just delivered really well. And so I went ahead and figured, okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and do that, but I'm going to put a little spin on it. And that's been being, I am actually going to pose at the end of it in front of the class. And so that's exactly what I did. The first time I ever posed in front of an audience wasn't on a bodybuilding stage. It was actually in my freshman college English and speech class. And so afterwards, you know, I got a round of applause and whatnot. And my professor just said, you know, you should think about competing. And I said, you know, there is a show coming up that I've been looking at. I don't know if I'm going to enter. And her and the rest of my class said I should do it. So lo and behold, I said, okay, we're going to do the show. And I started prepping 1 month out. I was already in relatively good shape, so I didn't have to take too much to get into competition shape. Just, you know, really staying on a stricter diet and implementing cardio, because I was not doing cardio at that time. But the second I started doing cardio, you know, everything started, all the fat started coming off, and we got into competition shape. And so that was basically how I got into competing, despite not having any dreams or ambitions of stepping on a bodybuilding stage growing up. So like I said, my first competition was at Venice Beach. It was a muscle beach competition, very amateur. It was like amateur. It wasn't even associated to the NPC. And at the time I didn't even know what the NPC was and the divisions and all this other stuff. I just saw it as a really cool opportunity because, like I said, it was Muscle Beach and whatnot. So going into my first show, I was super nervous. I did not know what to expect. Like I said, I had barely started doing cardio a month out and really sticking to my diet a month out. But at that point, I had really just been eating chicken and rice, and every once in a while throwing in a cheat meal and whatnot without even realizing that that was the diet I needed. I just knew I needed to eat, a lot of good chicken and rice. But I was eating basically like an 80-20 split. And so when I did, commit to the competition, I decided to go $100, but 100% into my diet. And that really helped me out. So the morning of the show, I realized that I had not even practiced posing. And so 20 minutes before I headed out to Venice Beach, I literally just looked up the poses, mimicked them in front of a mirror, and I was like, I got it, I'm good, let's go. And sure enough, backstage I kept practicing them, just trying to memorize them as best as I could. And yeah, I stepped on stage, and it was one of the most surreal feelings of my life. And thankfully I came out on top, and it really ignited that fire to go and compete again. I think even if I would have lost, it would have ignited that fire to go and compete again, because I would have thought to myself, I can do this, I can be better, I can do better next time. And so I'm pretty certain that no matter what, I probably would have done those 3 shows if I would have lost that first show, because then I would have tried harder and probably won the second one and said, well, that's a tie, let's go ahead and go for the third. Or even if I would have lost the second one, I would have tried for that third one to win. So I think regardless, I would have done those 3 shows that year. But thankfully, I was able to do them and come away with the win on all 3 shows. And like I said, that first competition was a very surreal feeling. I saw and heard that there was actually a guy that came from Beijing, China to compete, and I sent him home with 2nd place. My second show, there was a guy that came up from Mexico, and he was, a teen national champion down there and whatnot, and I sent him home with 2nd or 3rd place as well. And then once again for my 3rd show, I think the guy from China was back, and once again I sent him home with 2nd or 3rd place. But I remember distinctly my first show, waiting backstage for our finals, and my other competitors in my class and category coming up to me and literally saying to my face that they were just waiting around to see who got 2nd, because they all knew I got 1st. And in my mind, I didn't know what to say but thank you, because like I said, it was my first show. I wasn't really going in expecting anything like to win. I didn't really know what to expect of my fellow competitors and what they were going to look like. They could have looked 10 times better than me, and I wouldn't have even known that I had to come in that conditioning or that size or whatnot. So for them to tell me that they were just waiting around to see who was 2nd place because they already knew who got 1st, was so surreal. It was an honor, to be honest, and I really think about it all the time, because it just, it reminds me of what I can accomplish when I really set my mind to it, and so, that was a really cool feeling, to be honest, and I'm super grateful I had that experience. And it has hindered me in a way though, because when I transferred into the NPC and I won my first show, it kind of validated what they were saying and whatnot. But then after that first show, I fluctuated in ranks and 1st, 2nd, 4th, 6th. So and I was always thinking back at that comment, that they were telling me I was the best obviously at that time. And just it got me to learn that just because you're the best at one show doesn't mean you're going to be the best at every show. Every show is different, every competitor list is different, who shows up is going to be different, and you just have to be your best at every show regardless of what the outcome of the last show was, and just show up, and like I said, be consistent, be disciplined, and be your best. And if you do that, at the end of the day, if you're good enough, you're good enough. If not, there's other shows to do, there's other shows to compete in. Keep your head up and let's move on. So that was basically my first show, my first experience competing, and obviously it led into me competing more and doing more in the world of bodybuilding. So now that I'm on prep, every morning I have to do fasted cardio, except for my rest days at the start of my prep. Eventually that will change and I will be doing cardio every single day. most likely for about an hour or so. Right now I'm currently doing 30 minutes. Like I said, it's 5 days out of the week, just not on my rest days, which are Wednesdays and Sundays. But eventually we will be doing them full time. But after cardio, we always have my post-workout shake. Right now I am doing cardio post-workout, but soon I will be switching it to pre-workout, and when I get home I will be having this shake. Essentially it's just 1 cup water, 1 cup almond milk, 85 grams of blueberry, a scoop of collagen, a scoop of protein, and a scoop of carbs right now, because I am trying to maintain some kind of carb source in my diet, because we don't really want to start cutting carbs too drastically until we are closer to the show, because right now there's no need to. As long as you're eating the proper carbs, you can still eat and maintain a decent amount of carbs in your diet and still lean out. So like I've said, my body responds better to brown rice over white rice because it is a drier grain. So I always stick to brown rice. Last year I tried doing white rice, and yeah, it confirmed our suspicion. White rice is just a little too watery. So when I make brown rice, I make a lot of it because I go through it so quickly. And that's that I'm only doing 1 cup of brown rice per meal. But I am eating about 5 to 6 meals a day, so that's 5 to 6 cups of brown rice at about 52 grams of carbs a cup. So you can do the math on that. So for protein, I'm doing 8 ounces of chicken, and eventually it probably will get cut down to about 6 ounces. But that won't be until maybe 4 weeks out, depending on how I look and if we need to drop some calories before the show to really lean me out and condition me even some more. But that's all going to be based on how I look at that time. Alright guys, so we're actually on our way to Universal Studios Hollywood today for the first time in over a year. Being an annual pass member holder, they allowed us to just reserve a date. And I just happened to get today, and today just so happens to be the official first day that they're allowing people to really ride rides. They've been doing technical rehearsals and whatnot previous to this date, but today is the official day that everything is basically open that can be open, and everything that can be running is going to be running and operational. So I'm super happy, I'm super excited. As you can tell, we are doing very well on prep. It's been a good solid week so far, but before prep really gets kicked into high gear, we of course have to go and release some stress and have some fun, guys. It's all about having fun and releasing that stress and those endorphins in the body, and it really helps you get focused on prep. And this is one of the fun things that I like to do when I'm on prep, is go to theme parks and whatnot, because I don't like clubbing. I can't drink. I can't do a lot of fun stuff. But I do enjoy theme parks, and I'm super happy that they're finally open again. And they're going to be part of my prep, because I do kind of think that they help me in my prep, because all that walking around is extra cardio. So I do believe that I do look better when I'm going to theme parks on prep and whatnot. But anyways, guys, let's go ahead and head out to Universal Studios Hollywood and let's enjoy this beautiful day. I mean, it's a warm day here in Southern California. It was a cold morning, but now it's warm. So let's go enjoy this beautiful day. So like I stated in the intro, I am a toy photographer and toy collector. So I went to a Target on my way to Universal and I found these figures that I've been looking for, that I've been wanting so that I could take some really cool pics with. So I went ahead and picked them up before heading out to Universal.
To allow for appropriate physical distancing. Thank you and enjoy your day here at Universal Studios Hollywood.
I did find half a cheese puff here yesterday. How come you guys don't have collars on? Are you lost? If you need help, you are definitely talking to the wrong guy. You should go find Max and Duke. They always help me when I'm lost. Now, if I can only remember where they live. Keep sniffing around and you'll find them. This elevator is taking forever. Now, tell it. I gotta fix that.
No owners? Well, who feeds them? Who rubs their bellies, backs? Who throws the ball and then waits for them to get it and then throws it again?
I mean, no one. They're strays.
That is so sad.
Also, it is a little kitchen. You know, I really hope you puppies are clean. I don't even want to tell you what happens if the secret lair gets dirty. I mean, I'll be fine.
But Monica gets seriously grounded or lose cell phone privileges. I mean, come on, look at you. Now you definitely got fleas, don't you? And that's cool, because I got them too. So you can tell me. Aha! Psych! I don't have fleas. That there was a mind game. My sweet tea with arms and legs inside me.
Some of us get boxes. Some of us get super cool content joy.
You can do it, Bobby. Don't be scared.
Okay, good one, guys. Let me go.
Alright guys, so that wraps up a day at Universal. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was a fun day. Short day because, you know, the hours and everything, but it was great to be back in the parks, guys, so I really enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed this little look at a day in my life, and let's keep going, guys. The video's not done yet. Alright guys, so that was our day at Universal. What a fun fucking day. It has been too long since I've been at a theme park, guys. Yes, I did change my shirt. It did cool down significantly the last like hour and a half that I was in the park, especially on the studio tour. Man, it started getting cold towards the end, but thankfully I'm back in my car. And we're getting a shake-in because we missed a good meal for, well, we ate before we left, and we ate when we got here. But regardless, we still gotta get a shake-in because it's been a few hours since we last had our meal. More than 3 hours at least, which is a big whoopsie, but it is the first week of prep, so we can slip up a little bit. But anyways, guys, the video's not over yet. I'm gonna drink this and then I'm gonna head back into City Walk and explore a little and take you guys with me, so come along for the journey. Alright guys, just before I end this episode, I wanted to just say thank you so much to each and every one of you that tuned in, and I just wanted to say, I know there wasn't any training in this video, but I wanted to make this docu-series a little different than just training, nutrition, and posing, and I wanted to give you guys more of an inside look to my life. So that doesn't mean that there's not going to be any training videos or anything. That is definitely coming. It is on the way, starting in fact next week, where we're going to discuss legs. So make sure you come back next week for that video. But once again, guys, thank you so much for joining me on this journey to compete at the Muscle Icon contest June 26th. I was going to say 25th, but it's the 26th, 2021 in Culver City. Thank you so much, and I will see you guys in the next video.